And a very happy day to everybody today. I'm so excited to be able to share this with you. You know, my favorite thing is when I'm able to go and check out actors and creators and just events. My favorite thing is to be able to record or take pictures and share them with you. And I got so incredibly lucky this last weekend when Diana Gabaldon gave a panel. I was able to record just a little bit, enough to make a nice video and share some things with you. Plus, I went to the Moores Creek Freedom Festival and was able to take quite a few pictures that included demonstrations, people in full costume, some reenactment photos. So I'm going to share that all with you. If you stay tuned, I'm going to share with you my other very favorite thing about doing this channel, and that's a little giveaway just for you guys. So stay tuned, and maybe you'll get a little something fun out of it from me to you via Diana. But first, I want to share with you the panel. Now, as you can see, there were quite a few folks who were able to make the drive, and we all got to be very excited as Diana took the stage and answered a couple of really cool questions. A really nice discussion that was moderated by one of the local historians. And maybe we've heard this answer before, but it had quite a few more details, so I think you're going to really enjoy this. Stay tuned. Check this out. And like I said, wait till the end. Fun stuff coming.
Fell on the rug earlier, so I found it out before you could. So, Diana, thank you so much for coming to town for this.
It's my pleasure.
I think there's a ton of people here who are thrilled. I know that people have come from all over, not just from down the road. There's a tremendous amount of people who have come from very far, so we're thrilled to have you here. Obviously, this is a very important time, a very special time, but I kind of want to go back to the beginning. So for those who don't know the story, how did you come to be writing an epic love story about the Scottish?
Well, it's all the fault of Doctor Who.
As all things are.
Well, yes, of course. Well, I had known from about the age of 8 that I was supposed to write novels. I just didn't have any idea how. And so, I thought, well, something will come to me, I'll figure it out. I had always kind of told myself stories in my head and so forth, and I've always read everything I could get my hands on. I learned to read at the age of 3, nothing very complicated, but still words. And by the time I hit first grade, I knew how to check books out of the library and read every book in the flight staff library. By the time I hit 14, at that point I was in high school and had more libraries available. Yeah, anyway, as I say, I kind of knew this was what I was supposed to do, but I came from a very conservative family background. My father was fond of saying to me, well, you're bound to marry some bum, so be sure you get a good education so you can support your children.
I hope your husband never heard that story.
Yes, we had our 54th anniversary last week. Yeah, so anyway, I did not marry a bum, of course. On the other hand, I actually am rather practically minded, and it occurred to me that since I didn't know how to write novels to start with, I would probably not make very much money, at least to start with, and so, I'm in favor of having a good education. Anyway, so I became a scientist. I have 3 degrees in science, including a master's degree in marine biology from Scripps Institution of Oceanography, and which has done me no good at all. And a PhD in quantitative behavioral ecology, which has done me slightly more because I could be called Dr. Gabaldon without blushing. So this is always good. Yeah, my father, who was a politician, was very fond of saying, and this is my daughter, Dr. Gabaldon. Yeah, so anyway, I have to say that while it may have some prestige, you don't make very much money as an assistant research professor. And I not only didn't marry a bum, I married a very fertile man, and we had 3 children. Well, it takes 2 to be fertile, I'll tell you. But it helps, if you both are. Anyway, so I had 3 children in the space of 4 years. I mean, there's 2 years between them, so they were like 2, 4, 6, etc. So I was busy. And at this point in my life, and I'm not sure why, probably sleep deprivation, I decided that this was the time to start writing a novel. Because I had, 2 jobs and 3 small children, and a husband who had decided to quit his job and start his own business. And there's not much to choose between an entrepreneur and a bum in terms of income. So, so I was not going to let my father, jeer at me, so I didn't tell him anything. Anyway, he said, okay, I'm going to start writing a novel. I said, the only way I can think of to learn how to write a novel is to try and write one and see what happens. So I said, fine, okay, what kind of book should I write? Because, I have a lot of background in a lot of things, but none of them seem very novelistic. And so I was thinking, what kind of novel shall I write? I was casting around for time and place in which to set this putative novel. And I happened to see a really old rerun of Doctor Who on public television. I assume most of you know who Doctor Who is. I still is, not was. But well, sometimes he was. And sometimes he's not yet. Anyway, I was attracted to, in this particular instance, to one of the Doctor's companions who was a young Scotsman who appeared in his kilt. And I was thinking, well, that's kind of fetching. And I said, well, if you want to write a book, it doesn't really matter where you set it. The important thing is to get started. You do something, put words on paper. So I said, fine, Scotland, 18th century. And so I went to the university library where I worked. I worked in the university, not in the library. But this was before the days of Google, and it was just barely online. And so everything was still in card catalogs. Some of the older members here will remember the little wooden boxes full of index cards. So I went and looked up Scotland, Highlands, 18th century. I came up with a dozen cards or so of books, and with similar call numbers. So I went to the shelves where those were, and here were like 100 books on Scotland. Everything you could think of, geography, history, biography, etc. And Scottish language and all that sort of thing. I said, okay, well, here's something to start with. So I took out all of the books. I was a faculty member, so I got to take out as many as I wanted, which translated to how many could you carry at once. And I didn't give them back for a year and a half. I didn't even have if anybody else had asked for them, but apparently there was a lot of demand. So that's where I started writing Outlander.
Now we're going to take just a little break. I do have a little bit more from Diana, but I wanted to show you some of the things that I was lucky enough to see at the festival itself. We had people well done in their costumes, also some demonstrators, and of course a little bit of reenactment, which I was too far behind to actually see it, but I did grab a picture or two of the gentlemen and ladies all decked out. Check these out, and then we will get to a little bit more Diana.
Now, my husband had his business had gotten going, and he had converted our garage into an office and put in a front door where the garage door used to be, so that his clients could come and go into his office without coming through the house, just a little more professional. Also, the 3 kids on the floor and things like that. So he was safely stashed there. And I decided not to tell him what I was doing, because he would have tried to stop me. Not out of any any urge to stop me from writing a book, but because he thought I'd kill myself. Because, 2 jobs, 3 children, and what he would have said would be, wait until my business is doing better and you can quit one of your jobs. Wait till the kids are older. He would have just said wait, which would of course have been the wise thing to do. But nobody ever wrote a novel by being wise, believe me. And so anyway, I didn't tell him. I just started writing, and he had back then an IBM XT, which was the latest, greatest thing, in his office, and I would do my scientific papers and things like that on it in the evenings. And I started writing my novel on this, and so I was writing that, and quickly realized that he could see what was on my screen. And so when I heard the door behind me open, I'd flip, away from my manuscript into the latest paper I was writing. One day he came in when I was not there and had to bring up a statement for one of his clients and print it off. So he turned on the computer, and there was the piece of my novel that I had been working on. So I came in just behind him. He's sitting there reading off the screen, turns around and said, "Who's Jamie?" I said, "Well, it's this book I'm writing, okay?" The tone suggesting that I was not to be trifled with, and I wasn't. So he backed off a little bit, but he shortly lost his fear of me and started reading over my shoulder while I was writing.
Well, that is a little bit of what my adventure with my mother and Melissa was. Now, of course, is the big giveaway. What could I possibly be giving away? Well, I had to buy these tickets for the events for my mother and myself quite some time ago, and did not realize that when I purchased the meet and greet, which was a fantastic moment, the pictures for that are going to come as well here at the very end. I didn't realize it came with an autograph, so I purchased an autograph separately, which of course meant I have 2 autographs. And I purchased the meet and greet for my mom, so she had one for her own collection of fun stuff in her books. So I have a copy of Outlander, inscribed by our favorite author. Here it is. If you would like your very own copy of Outlander, and I'm sure you have one, but do you have one with Diana's autograph within? If you don't, and you'd like my extra copy, then here's what you're going to do. I was trying to think of a really good question, like what's a good trivia question I could give you? And really anything about Diana or Outlander you guys are going to know off the top of your head, or be able to find out really, really easily by looking it up on the internet. So what obscure, weird question could I give you? And I thought I'm going to ask you something that I've talked about on this channel about me. Which one of my children got married this past summer? That's the question. If you could answer that, which has nothing to do with Outlander, but I'd like to see if anyone remembers. And first person to get it right, send me your address, and I'm going to send you this book. All right? Good deal? Make sure you let me know if you remember which one of my children got married this summer. I know it's weird trivia, but it was the only thing I could think of that you couldn't look up easily on the internet. First person to get this on the comments below, I'm going to ask for your physical address and send you this book. All right? Well, that's the deal. Thanks so much for joining me on my little adventure. I hope that you had fun. Don't tell Mom that I showed you her picture, because she's very camera shy, so that's a secret between you and me. And I will see you guys later on for another video tomorrow. I think I have enough stuff that I can make a video for y'all, and I'm off to do some helpful grandmothering to pick up my daughter for her grandkids and doctor's appointments. Good times? Yes. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big old thumbs up. Share if you didn't. Give it a big old thumbs down. Comment either way. Subscribe if you haven't already and you keep coming back here, because that's the easiest way to come back here. And don't forget to hit that notifications bell so you know when the next videos do come out. Thank you so much to everyone who has supported this channel. My members, my subscribers, anybody who's given a one-time donation, shares, Yeah, I mean, if you comment and you view on a regular basis, you really help keep this channel alive and give me the opportunity to do things like this and then share them with you guys. All right, if you want that book, make sure you comment below which one of my four children got married this last summer. And I will see you guys later on for more fun Outlander stuff. Of course, if you think you missed any updates, do make sure you check out the playlist down below. And as per usual, I will see you there.